Hi everybody, we're back with another Gundam card game related video. This time we're going to be talking about the big elephant in the room, right? Today is the release of Starter Deck 5 Iron Bloom, aka the Iron Blooded Orphan Starter Deck. As you can see on the screen right now, if you're just listing, $65, 99-cent shipping though, don't worry about that. $1 shipping, no big deal. Alright, as you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be a much more different video that I usually, hopefully in the foreseeable future, won't have to make too often. But I gotta vent my frustrations. I'm sure y'all have frustrations as well, because you can see this price is just unacceptable, gang. This thing's supposed to go for $16 MSRP. I get it, people gotta hustle, people gotta make their money, gotta make their rent, all that stuff, but at the same time, like, it's frustrating because it feels like Gundam card game doesn't warrant that speculation sensation. You know what I mean? Like Pokemon, I guess, and I'm going to say it, has ruined it for everyone else, because now people who want to speculate, scalpers, all that stuff, have decided, ooh, I'm going to put my money into Gundam card game, or I'm going to put my money into some other random thing that you think is just so niche, but they're just going to buy it out, or just decide, I'm going to put these prices at exorbitant value, way over what it probably deserves to be paid for. But people who have no self-control and people who have FOMO are willing to pay those prices, and that completely continues the cycle of why people scalp and then pay money for these things like that, right? So of course, if you want to see and you want to see more, please leave a like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff, for more Gundam card game related content, because it's just not about the cardboard, right? It's about real life as well. And it's unfortunate that this is what the reality is at the moment. Keep in mind though, for most people, the events are happening tonight, so you might see this price go down, but I highly doubt that, because I'm gonna presume that if you manage to get into an event, you're not really gonna be there in order to like hustle and like sell the deck, right? I presume that you probably either one are interested in Iron Blooded Orphans, or two, I guess you would want to use it and save it and then maybe use it for trade fodder or something like that. Because it would make no sense for me to say why you would go through all this effort to get one starter deck in order to just flip it for like 65 bucks. Like, is it really worth doing all of that just to flip it? Like, I would just keep it at that point, right? You'll never know. It's like so hard to get anyways. So I would like to believe most people who are true fans, quote unquote, who actually play the game, are in these events, and that people who are selling this stuff are just like, I don't know, withholding like a couple starter decks or whatever, and saying like, oh, we only have race for 6, but we're going to sell the other, like, you know, other 6 decks, or we're going to sell the other 12, or whatever allocation they have. So allegedly, if you didn't know, and again, allegedly, I don't know if it's true, it could be just, again, speculation, sensation, people just trying to manipulate the market, quote unquote, saying that Bandai underprinted this deck, which, based on the history so far of how hard it is to get product, not surprising, probably checks out, right? Math checks out of why it's so difficult to get this starter deck to begin with. So most of my locals, I have not been able to get into any events. They're all waitlisted. And then most places are only like 6 participants, or one place is getting like 18. That's it. No extra ones to sell. They don't know when they're getting any more. Like, that's it. I don't know why Bandai thought that Gundam card game would not be popular whatsoever, but it partially feels that Gundam card game, from Bandai's perspective, is like they don't want to put all their eggs into this basket for whatever reason. Obviously, One Piece card game is like their top dog. Like, it would make sense for them to promote that one and put all the resources into that, but at the same time, given the popularity, like, they absolutely know from like the Bandai app and sales numbers and all that stuff, I'm sure that if they really tried, they can probably make Gundam card game like at least kind of like a 1A 1B situation, where 1A would, like, the first one obviously would be One Piece, and then 1B would be Gundam card game. They could absolutely have 2 completely different but thriving card game communities and make a ton of money, but for some reason they just decided, I don't know if people care about Gundam. Like, you know, a franchise has been going on for like 50 years or whatever at this point, right? 0079. So I don't know, I guess people like Gundam. I didn't know that. Mr. Bandai, I guess that's what they're thinking, Mr. Bandai. So key of this video is just venting frustrations of just like people. it doesn't make sense to me why you would, well, of course it makes sense because capitalist society, but like, why would you want to try to scalp Gundam card game? To me, that doesn't make any sense, because all these prices are obviously going to crash if you're not able to sell like efficiently. For example, remember Gundam card game, like the booster pack and first came out, everybody's like, oh my god, dev sites are like $40, blah blah blah, all this stuff like that, and then now everything's mostly crashed. Same thing with product. I think product, everyone who wanted to get product already has product, and that's what we saw with the, you know, crash. Because booster boxes around my area when it first came out was like 200 minimum. I went out of my way to drive like an hour to get it at retail. You know, shout out to them, Sword and Board Games. They were fantastic. They obviously unsealed it, so like you technically can't resell like a sealed one, but still, I mean, it was great for them to sell it at retail. And if they had starter deck 5s available there, I would have went out of my way to go drive an hour to get like a starter deck, at least from them, because they deserve my business. If your local game store is like upcharging upwards of, I don't know, 50 bucks, which again, we're not in the business for legal reasons to call out people directly, but this is one of my locals, meaning like within the area, and they're doing $50 entry for ST05, only 6 spots, and then they're complaining about us for complaining that they're upcharging $50, which the highest I've seen was like 35, but that's like a starter deck and like a couple packs, which like, sure, I guess, whatever. But apparently they're charging 50 bucks for just the starter deck, by the way, when they're saying like, oh, retail price at the time they posted this was like $90 pre-sale. And these are pre-sale, right? It's just people speculating like, oh, if I can get like some dummy or some Andy or whatever, some Tim to pay up $90, so be it. That's on you at that point. So they're complaining that like 50 bucks is actually a bargain for y'all. You can see here on TCG Player $65, and it makes no sense to me why people who are trying to like just scam their community out of things instead of trying to thrive and build a community over time. Because it would make more sense to me if I was a business owner and from just selling cards. Like if I had to sell like cardboard for a living, I would want to have a consistent player base, right? Like it makes no sense for me to try to screw over the customer for like a couple bucks. Like, yeah, you'll make a lot of short-term profit and stuff like that, but everybody's gonna hate you in the foreseeable future and not go to you for like business unless they absolutely have to. Which at that point, I feel it's not a good way to run a business if you're trying to just screw over your customers constantly, right? Shout out to insurance companies. I guess that's how they make their money, trying to screw you over. But $65, gang, this is insane. Obviously don't pay for this. Like, I know you really want to spend $65 to get Barbados as a shiny cardboard, but still, you can use so much money for $65 in this economy. You can almost buy, well, you could technically buy like Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F came out today. Let's check how much you can buy that for. Silent Hill, right? Silent Hill F. Let's see. Shopping. I believe I saw it for like 60 bucks, give or take. 62. That's not a bad price. You can get that for like 60-ish dollars, maybe a little bit more, right? There's plenty of things you can spend your well hard-earned American cash or whatever currency you have on, instead of just a $16 pack of starter deck cards, gang. Like, I just don't get it. If you're paying, for example, something like Magic, which has shown that it can consistently retain value as quote-unquote an investment, like a collector pack, I totally get it. It's only a one-time printing, and they obviously made it scarce, but excuse me. But at the same time, like, this is just a starter deck, guys. It's just a starter deck. Please, I won't say I'm begging you, but please make good financial decisions instead of just buying these starter decks that you know will be reprinted. Like, this starter deck coming out doesn't mean that every other deck at the moment is complete garbage now, right? You know, it's not like a Yu-Gi-Oh situation, which, to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh starter decks most of the time are garbage anyways. But like, your Cyber New type ping deck doesn't get worse because this deck came out. You know what I mean? Wing Zero will probably still be like the best deck of the format, because Iron-Blooded Orphans, like, their whole gimmick is about trying to take damage and then increase their attack, which makes it quote-unquote like an aggro strategy. But still, like, they somehow have to deal with Wing Zero drop, you got to deal with Death Sight with First Strike. Like, in my opinion, if you haven't seen already, my deck review of the entire, like, all the cards, in my opinion, the only really good cards are like the command card, which is able to do like destroy a card, and then really Barbados. But then Barbados requires you to have so much more setup, like that one card where you're able to get damage and then you get increased attack. I think we have start like it here. Let's see which one's the card I was talking about. So this is the one, Fatal Strike, what I was talking about, where you can destroy a level 3 or lower. Even then, level 3, I mean, I guess you can destroy Lefrith, right? That's not bad. Turn 4, destroy blockers, like that's not a bad card. Absolutely, that's a great card. That'll probably see some meta play here and there. But then the other one I was thinking about was it this one? Okay, choose one of your units, deal 1 damage to it. It gains AP +3 during this turn. Just this turn, right? Yeah, it's an action card, but then during this turn, yeah, I can see it getting play as well. But then you have to use that card in conjunction with your normie Barbados, right? Which one's that one? I forgot. Was it this one? Yeah, when this unit is damaged, it gets +2 AP. So it gets damaged. I guess you can turn it into 6 because of that card, right? So I think those are only real meta contenders, in my opinion. Maybe this card, the other base card, where you can choose one of your damage units and gets +2 AP instead of +1, like the Marcellus base. But I mean, that doesn't mean that all your cards you already have are invalid. I still think Grandpa Gundam is probably going to be like the best card so far released, in my opinion. Started at Grandpa Gundam with Amuro because it's just such great stats and body. And remember, you can rest your opponent's Barbados, and at that point it's just like 2 health left. You can probably ping it to death anyways. So your Cyber New type ping deck, quote unquote, is already a natural counter to purple. You know what I mean? Like, just don't save your money, please. Save your money, gang. This is not a PSA, more or less, but this is just me coming to you. Not financial advice, by the way. You can do whatever you want with your money. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that you can spend your money on much more better things, gang. Right, even promotional cards, which I guess quick update for those of you who care. I wasn't able to go into the new type challenge because of personal reasons, but I don't think I would have gotten in anyways. And then, I mean, apparently it was a great time. I think the winning deck list was green, white, wing 0 anyway, so, you know, shout out to them if they were able to play. But like, you can do so much more with your money. That's all I'm saying, right? Don't be dumb. Don't have FOMO. It's just, what are we doing, gang? I don't know. I just want to vent my frustrations. If this continues on for the rest, let's say like the next 6 months, let's shout out to, like, I want to say like the third box, the third set, whatever you want to say, right? The third box. You can't do anything about the second set because I'm pretty sure they already like underprinted it because they didn't expect most people to play it, right? But let's say by the third set and this thing still goes on and you still see like starter decks being like $70-$40 or something like that, that's gonna ruin the game, gang. I guarantee it. People are gonna be so frustrated. I'm already frustrated that I can't get product at reasonable prices. So if I can't do it, I'm sure I'm just one of like 100 people who feel the same way. Maybe that one Timmy or one, you know, Gucci man guy who lives in a mansion and eats out every day is able to afford this completely, but for most normal people, this is crazy. Anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble. We'll see more positive Gundam card game related content in the future. Thank you for watching. Let me know down below how you feel about this. Were you able to get into Starter Deck 5 events? I'm signed up for like 6 of them, all waitlisted. So, oh well. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. See you guys around. Bye.